national dailies this morning. What are the stories making the headlines? We'll take them one after the other. We'll also give you the opportunity to be part of this discourse this morning. We have our guest, a senior analyst of Nigeria, like Zimbabwe would say, in the studio this morning, and that is Rasaq Ayinla for Monday. Razak, we're so happy to have you.
Yeah, it's nice to be here this morning. Good morning, Debo. Good morning, Bolaji.
Good
Our
morning.
listeners, good morning. It's a beautiful Monday.
It is.
All right, let's start on this sad note. President Bolaji on Sunday condoled with the government and people of Enugu State over the fuel tank explosion, which resulted in loss of lives on Saturday. He also directed traffic control agencies to enforce extra measures to prevent recurring fuel tank explosion. A similar story, the Niger explosion death toll rises to 25, several bodies recovered. You can find the story in the Vanguard. 25 persons have been confirmed dead following another mining explosion in Niger State, and so much more. Must we continue to ignore the signs that explosion? And
I think our government needs to be more responsible and responsive at this point, because if you look at in 1 month, you want to calculate the number of people, the number of souls that we lost in Nigeria. It's more than 100, and in a country like Nigeria, I think we need to value lives more. Countries like this, I think this is a time for our government to listen to the people's voice. And what is that voice? Is that if you cannot provide a dedicated track or lane for articulate vehicles, then you should bring about regulations across the state of Nigeria that would say, oh, maybe they should be going at night and strictly enforced. I think we used to have such law in Ogun State, but today nobody is looking that into that direction. The FRSC and our trade trying to disparage them, but they are not doing well. They are not doing well. When you have a regulation, the traffic agencies are there to enforce the law. How well are they enforcing it? But I may not totally blame them. Or what I think we need is that our government should give them more manpower and more trucks, more equipment to work. Because when we have a trace that is less than 1,000 staff, then what do you want them to do in 20 local government across the board, for instance? And when we have FRSC, that is the population is not up to even the police, then what do you want them to do across that state operation? So enforcement is key. Our government should ensure that they enforce all these regulations, which say truck articulate vehicles should ply roads at night. And that is going to be a short-term solution. The medium and long-term solution is to find another means of transition to haulage or transport all these goods from one place to the other. Train is there. And I want to also commend Mr. President for appointment of Okwefa. I think Okwefa, who the commissioner for transport in Lagos, brought about a lot of things. At the time he was commissioner in Lagos, they brought about a lot of development in transport sector. So I think for him to have been appointed as the NRC head now, I'm talking about Nigerian Railway Corporation, is going to do a lot in ensuring that we fall back more on rail transition to transport all these goods from one place to the other. They need to develop all these rail tracks and ensure that we are using them, not only developing them, but we are using them to transport all these goods instead of using trucks and articulated vehicles that may swerve off the road anytime. That some of those are even driving them are too young for such. Because I remember when we were growing up, those are actually driving articulated vehicles are probably old men who know their audience, who have kids at home, who value their lives. But now, when you see a 10-year boy driving truck, then you want to ask yourself that what experience has this one got for him to be driving at
what appreciation of life does he even have?
Does he even have? So I think enforcement of law and regulations should be the best. That is in short term, but medium and long term, let's develop other means of transition so that we will not be putting more pressure on our road, so that we'll be avoiding auto crashes everywhere, so that we'll have even more consignments to move at the same time, because when you use truck and when you use truck and you use rail, you move more consignment through rail than truck. So I think it's even economical to use rail to transport your goods from say Lagos to Ibadan to the north to Kwara to anywhere in Nigeria. We need to tell our government to be more responsible and responsive to this.
So, but I'll say for the railroads.
Yeah, that's the that is the safest means of transportation in your world. Because if you look at the rail, you don't see accident being you couldn't an accident occurring often on rail because unlike road where vehicle can ram into each other, rail can never ram to each other. That's one. Another one is that rail they have appointed time that they move and stop, but anybody can just bring your vehicles on the road anytime. No regulation as regards when you move and how you stop. So rail is one of the safest, if not the safest means of transportation in your world. So I think if you try to switch to rail, we are going to save a lot of things. Even the fuel that we are putting pressure on our finances will be reduced because I will just drop my car. It's done everywhere, even in South Africa. You just drop your car, just go and take the rail and move around. So that is even safer. That is economically wise to go by rail.
Okay, by the time we open the lines for the listeners to be part of this, maybe our mummies will help us confirm some things, especially with this report from the Nigerian Tribune, which says the prices of tomatoes have crashed in Lagos and other parts of Nigeria. Maybe in Abeokuta, maybe in Ibadan, wherever it is you're calling from, let us know if that is true. Because one of our ladies in the studio said, well, she can't really notice any change in price, whether coming down or going up. But others say that's what the Nigerian Tribune reported. And still, around agriculture, we have NEDF pledging to transform Nigeria's economy through agriculture. The National Development Fund has reaffirmed its commitment to revolutionizing Nigeria's agricultural sector, positioning it as a cornerstone of economic and social development. Well, NEDF is not an agency we hear from all the time, but now they're making a promise.
In the last 3 months, we've been having the price of even the beans crashing. And of course, some of those things that are being brought, the fruit being brought from the north, we see their prices crashing. Two reasons. Number one is security. In the north now, kudos to Nigerian military, kudos to Nigerian armed forces. They are really working in the asses. And in fact, I can tell you that even the leader of this terrorist is trying to surrender very soon. Now I'm talking about the Turich, according to the chief of defense staff. And of course, why is it like that is because the Nigerian men, the Nigerian military men, are taking it to them to in their hideout. So they are fighting them, they are trying to dislodge them, and they are neutralizing them here and there. The story that we have been treating in the last 2-3 weeks has been that they are neutralizing different hideouts, different clean them. So this is giving the farmers some hope to go back to farm, and they are going there to farm. Once they are farming, there will be increase in production, and when there's increase in production, there will be a crash in the prices. So that's the reason that you could see that the prices of these commodities are going down because of the fact that their security is coming back in some areas in the north. Apart from that, it is in these beds that we rely so much on real field farming. But in the north, they do irrigation because they know that that place is desert. They don't expect rain anytime soon. Rather, what an average farmer in the north is thinking is to go irrigation. So irrigation is there. That is why they have all year round tomato, all year round pepper, all year round vegetable. So that is why in the north they will continue to be leading us even in the south, where we have arable land, where we have a reasonable number of rainfall. But we need to embrace irrigation even in the south. I don't know what is happening to our Owi Dam. I don't know how many farmers Owi Dam is feeding along Obada Oko, along that access. I don't know how many people Owowo, and so I don't know how many farmers This is feeding. The same thing if you go to Oyo Dam. How many farmer is Oyo Dam feeding? I was in Funab last week. They're trying to bring about their own irrigation so that they will feed us in Ogun State. I think this is a sign for everybody in the south to embrace irrigation in order to have all year round farming instead of depending on rain that is not certain, because the effect of climate change has changed the rainfall cycle. So, and we may not get it as we desire. So we need to get irrigation farming as good as possible, as quick as possible. So I think that is the way to go for us to get all these things. If we really mean business, because in the north they rely so much on irrigation, except insecurity that's actually affected them. But now the federal government is trying to dislodge all these the hideout of these terrorists and criminals in Nazis.
Dere has advocated economic cooperation among states in Africa. Governor Dere said such cooperation would promote African unity, boost the economies of the subnationals, and reduce economic dependence on the Western world. Is this not long overdue?
If you look at the economy that we are running in Nigeria, you want to ask yourself that why are we having it when we have almost everything that the countries of the world. In fact, every mineral resources, or say every uh, natural endowment, is present in Nigeria. If you talk about bitumen, some countries do have, some countries don't have. If you talk about gold, some countries do have. Some. If you talk about, in fact, do you know that our own crude oil is the best in the OPEC in terms of the presence of sulfur that it has? Our own crude burns. That is why they will tell you that our own oil is sweet crude because it's very sweet. If Nigeria, one African country out of many countries of the world, is having the best crude oil, then you know that this is a place where God resides. We have almost everything except leadership. It is that is why the masses, that is why those who have the mandate to give the leader, we need to wear our thinking cap and think very well. Which leader are we giving our mandate to? Because once they have taken mandate, you cannot renew it until 4 years. And even 1 month is if it's even too much to destroy what has been done in 100 years. Therefore, we must never try to put pig in a room where you have all good things, because if you do that, the pig will destroy everything you have in that room. So we must be very, very careful on which leader we are putting as the helm of affairs. So that leads me to what you're talking about. In Nigeria, we just need to have a robust bilateral and multilateral ties with different countries of the world in terms of where do we benefit most, how do we benefit, what are those things that we need to do to benefit more our economy. Today, the benchmark for 2025 budget, it's $72 per barrel of the oil. Today, at the international market, the oil is more than $80 per barrel. And there's a project, economic projection, that it will hit up to $100 per barrel. What that tells you is that Nigeria is making more money if that happens. But how are you going to use that money? Even if we make the money, that is where we may have problem from. But let's be making noise now, to be monitoring their activities, to be telling them how much they are collecting, so that we can look at how our state governors are spending money, how our local government chairmen are spending money, and how Mr. President himself is trying to earmark money for the growth and development of Nigeria. This is the time to do that.
Thank you very much. This is Morning Flight, OGBC 90.5 FM, our discussion segment. I'm going to take two together, one report by The Guardian, the other by the Nigerian Tribune. But then we're coming home and talking about culture and tradition. His Excellency, the Governor of the State, His Excellency Prince Dabo Abiodun described recently the role of traditional institutions in the state as one of the prime movers of invaluable deals and suggestions in assisting the present administration. He said this at the one-year coronation of the 24th Daburi Remidowa, and the governor stated that the stool had been placed on an enviable pedestal when they made it past Daburi as a traditional ruler of essence. Now, that was by His Excellency the Governor. And also, the Nigerian Tribune reported former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Sunday as saying that Yoruba race should guard their culture, which he described as authentic, and never allow it to go into extinction. Chief Obasanjo said this while hosting a renowned female talking drama. This is Oluwa something Aradola. The question, talking about culture and preservation of our culture, are we doing enough? And how best can we do this and achieve it?
We're never doing enough in our culture, because the first thing that anybody is born into is culture. And through culture, you derive government. Through culture, you derive lifestyle. Through culture, you derive law. Through culture, you derive economy. Through culture, you derive politics. So we are practicing democracy that best suits our culture in Nigeria. And that's the reason you see us, that this is what we are practicing. But I want to tell you something, that it is good that we are getting this from our governors. And I want to commend our governor of Ogun State, President Abiodun, for what he has said. But it is not enough to say it. We need to walk the talk by ensuring that we are involving traditional rulers and our cultural ambassadors in everything we do. If you involving traditional ruler, chiefs, cultural ambassadors in security, for instance, they will secure their locality more than what somebody will come to Abuja to come and do for them. If we are involving them in policies, they know Omo Atonwuniwa, they know those that are real, the real blood in their community that they are going to vote for during the election. But they just need empowerment to be able to ensure that, if anybody is coming from, he has been away probably for 20 years and is coming to come and contest as a Rep member in Abeokuta South, they should ask him, how well you know Abeokuta South? How well do you know Abeokuta South? If somebody is coming from Ipokia, and of course that person has never even lived there, and you want that person to go and be their leader in Ipokia, then they need to ask that person, why is it so? Why do we need to do that? So it is the chiefs, it's our traditional rulers, it is community leaders that know who is who in their community, in their locality, in their local government, in their states. But when you don't involve traditional rulers, community leaders, then you are bound to go and bring Atoniwas to come and be your leaders at any point in time. That's why they are very important in politics. If you involve them, they will give you the best because they know who are the best among them. They know the Oles, they know the Jagudas, they know everybody because they know the territory, they know the family houses, they know everybody. So, but when you are not involving them in politics, when what they say doesn't hold water, then you want to see their only was to be at the end of affair. And of course, when you have them, because they don't know which road is bad, they don't know which project they should do. So they will just be loading everything over you, and you don't have any option. So that's the reason you need to involve traditional rulers, cultural ambassador, community leaders in governance, in politics, in economy. They will, in fact, in controlling the price, they can control the price for you if you involve them. For instance, in Egba, for instance, we have 6 local governments. There's nothing stopping all the 4 obas in Egba land to call them because the land belongs to them, to tell them that, oh, to meet all you farmers, we need to meet you market leaders. This is too outrageous. Try to tone down your prices. But if you don't inform them, they'll just sit back in their cocoon, in their palaces, and just be watching you. So this is time to get them involved in the governance, because even if in the whole Western region we have the House of Chiefs, the House of Lords, where we have all the others and the chiefs in Southwest trying to advise those that are really ruling the region and the country. So we need to involve them. It's not because I'm a prince, but I think the best way to go is to involve traditional rulers, chiefs, and community leaders so that you get the best at all time, not getting their only ones and now saying you want to send them back. So it cannot work.
All right, so we have 2 princes in the studio. All right, so let's check this story coming from the nation. Troops of 6th Division Nigerian Army have recovered 30,000 liters of stolen petroleum products and destroyed 13 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region. Confirming the development, the acting deputy director, 6th Division Army Public Relations Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma Jonah Danjuma said while on routine anti-illegal bunkering operations, the troops swooped on a vandalized point with a large pole stuck with 252,000 liters of stolen crude oil at Ugo community in Oromon local government area of Edo State. So if we can have 13 illegal refineries, that means Nigeria can have even much more.
That is what that is uncovered. We have a lot of illegal refineries everywhere, especially in the creeks. And the only thing I want to say again is to commend our president. Why am I commending the president? Is because he's giving a political will to fight and dislodge all these people. I said earlier on that security is getting back in the north. It's because of the fact that we have somebody who is not following some Baba Sokwe or some godfathers to say that, oh, these are our boys, you should leave them. Tinubu has changed that rhythm and he will continue to change it. Don't forget, last week, Senator Shiromole said those behind the bunkerings are retired generals. And of course, the retired generals, if they are not allowed to control the present generals, then more of them dislodged. This what they are doing is commendable. Nigerians should commend them for doing that. And of course, they should provide more encouragement. They provide more equipment, armament, dislodge them further, because it's as if this man called Christopher Musa, General Christopher Musa, the Chief of Defense Staff, means business and is ready to dislodge criminals everywhere in Nigeria. We can only appeal to the Nigerian Police Force, the DSS, and all other security agents to join hands together with him so that they will dislodge criminals everywhere that we can think of in Nigeria. Kudos to Nigerian military, kudos to armed forces, Nigerian police, and all that security agents for what they are doing. I give them thumb up this morning.
All right, kudos to Nigerian military. We go to the phones right now. 0803 453 and 0815 032 0226. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Bolaji,
Good morning, sir.
God bless you.
And you too,
My
sir.
dear brother,
Good morning, sir.
how are you?
I'm fine.
We are here again. Now let's get about everybody
Welcome.
from South area. In fear of tankers and tanker drivers in domination. These are tankers who can have kill ourselves like pounds. Eh? Because to roast ourselves. When tanker falls and explodes, lives will I mean, people are born beyond recognition. Are we animals? Can't we control this? The mandate of these young tanker drivers and their employers. You know, that's a thing. Let's find alternatives. We can use the rail. Eh? You know that we need to use the rail to transport all these petroleum products. But in the end, we don't end only in railway station. We have things to be transported to petrol station. So we have to know how to control the mandate of the tankers and tankers. They must be held responsible for all this that is happening. Then and that. Now, the crash of price of tomato, is that what you think? Bolaji will appreciate the crash of the price of rice
Of
and
course.
rice and beef in this country. That is what we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
calling. 08034379453 or 08150320226. Hello?
Morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Yes,
Morning, sir.
thank you. My name is Wole Owosheni. I'm calling from Ilaro. I sincerely appreciate Rasaq for what he has brought on board concerning the analysis this morning. I want to remind you that the rail system, the rail transport system is very, very limited in Nigeria. For instance, from Lagos to Ibadan now, for now, Ibadan is the terminus.
Yes.
And I want to remind you that the rail system doesn't extend to Ondo State at
Yes.
all.
Yes. And Ekiti.
Ondo and Ekiti.
No.
And that area is very large.
Very much.
We need the rail system to get to that area. If we have rail transport system in all the areas in all the